Okay, so this first example is for when you have a start time and you have a finish time. Our first step is to highlight the key pieces of information. So the start time is 7:45 a.m. and the finish time is going to be 3:30 p.m. Our next step is to draw this information onto the number line. So the first piece of information I'm going to put on is the starting time, which is 7:45 a.m. and the finish time, which is 3:30 p.m. So I add the 7:45 at the start of the number line and the 3:30 at the finish. So the next bit of information I'm putting onto the number line is the next o'clock time that's closest to 7:45. So if I was counting onto the next o'clock time, it would be 8 o'clock. So I've put 8 o'clock onto my number line. Then I'm going to use this red line here to show that that is adding on 15 minutes. Now I'm jumping over to the end time, and my goal for the end time now is to bring that to the nearest o'clock time as well. So the nearest o'clock time before 3:30 was 3 o'clock. So I'm going to write that time onto my number line. You might be thinking to yourself, well, 4 o'clock is close to 3:30 as well. Why are we taking it to 3 o'clock? Well, remember that our number line ends at 3:30. So we definitely wouldn't be taking it out to 4 o'clock if our number line ends at 3:30. So therefore, the next closest o'clock time before 3:30 is 3 o'clock. So we're looking at that before time, not after. The next step is to add on the amount of time between 3:30 and 3 o'clock. So I'm going to put that information into my number line. So 3:30 to 3 o'clock is 30 minutes. Finally, I'm going to figure out how much time has elapsed between 8 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And now that we've just got 2 o'clock times, all it is a matter of counting between 8 and 3. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, which is 7 hours. So I'm going to put that information into my number line as well. So now we have all the information we need to figure out the elapsed time. All I need to do now is add 15 minutes, 7 hours and 30 minutes together, and I will get my total elapsed time. So I'm going to add up the minutes first. So I'm going to go 15 minutes plus 30 minutes, which equals 45 minutes. And then I'm going to add on the 7 hours. So it's going to be 7 hours and 45 minutes. Anya was at school for 7 hours and 45 minutes. I've read through the question and I've identified 10:30 a.m. as the start time and 3:15 p.m. as the finish time. And I've also identified that the question is actually asking how long was Gabe at Ethan's house for. So that's what my answer needs to reflect in the end. I'm going to start by drawing the start time and the finish time onto my number line. So the start time is 10:30 a.m. and the finish time is 3:15 p.m. I'm then going to add on the nearest o'clock time after 10:30 a.m., which would be 11 o'clock a.m. So I've drawn that onto my number line as well. And now I'm going to figure out the elapsed time between 10:30 a.m. and 11 o'clock a.m., which would be 30 minutes. So I've added that onto the number line too. Next, I'm going to figure out the closest o'clock time to 3:15, but remember it has to be before 3:15 because my number line ends at 3:15. So that would be 3 o'clock. Now I work out the elapsed time between 3 o'clock and 3:15, which is 15 minutes, so I'm adding that to the number line. Finally, I need to count between my 2 o'clock times, 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock, to figure out how much time has passed. So we're going to count on 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, which is 4 hours. So I'm going to write that into my number line as well. In order to answer the final part of this question, how long was he at Ethan's house? I need to add up the minutes first, so 30 minutes plus 15 minutes, which equals 45 minutes, and then add the 4 hours on. So the answer will be 4 hours and 45 minutes. And then remember to answer a worded problem with a sentence. So the sentence would be, Gabe was at Ethan's house for 4 hours and 45 minutes.